beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jennifer Diamond, and I'm a certified plant-based nutrition coach living a whole food, plant-exclusive, sos-free, gluten-free lifestyle for health and well-being. And I am 4 weeks and 3 days in to Dr. Brooke Goldner's protocol, and I wanted to bring you along while I make one of her salads. So let's do it. I eat a lot of salads, whether I'm on anyone's protocol or not. But while I am doing Brooke Goldner, Dr. Brooke Goldner's autoimmune reversal, I hope to reverse my autoimmune. I've been using her cookbook a lot. It's called Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious, and I've been really enjoying a lot of the food, and so I thought, well, it's time for me to make a salad. Maybe I'd bring you along to make it. And this particular one, if you have this cookbook, is on page 49, and it's called Citrusy Kale Ribbon Salad. And so I thought that I would show you how to make it and maybe inspire you to either get her book or make some more salads, because salads, gosh, there is so much diversity in making salads. So right here in front of me, I'm drinking my water, and I'm also working on a smoothie. This one doesn't look green because it's made out of cauliflower, which is really interesting. And it's also another one of her recipes. So I'm gonna temporarily set these aside and continue drinking them you know, throughout the day. And so I wanted to just first start with kale. And I actually started cutting up some purple cabbage, and I just automatically poured a little bit in here, but the rest of it's here on the side, and we'll get to that in a minute. So this is the, you can see it right here. This is the curly kale. Oh my gosh, there are so many different varieties of kale. I actually have dino kale, which I think I'll grab out just to show you the difference. And curly kale comes in this beautiful green color. It also comes with like a purple stem, and I almost bought some, but it looked like it had been on the shelf a little too long. So I went ahead and got this one. I've already washed it and chopped it up. I meant to leave a leaf. I stripped it off of the stem, and it is ready to go. But let me just show you for a second here. Just in case you're not familiar, I mean, this is the dinosaur kale. They call it dino kale. And I obviously don't have it prepped, but let me just take this little, band off and just show you. In case you're not familiar, it kind of looks like dinosaur skin, doesn't it? And you could just see right here, you know. And it's very different. I should have not cut all of this, but it's very different. It's a different color, a different texture, and the leaves are different. And so, you know, mixing up the different kales is something that I try to do. But for today, we're gonna go ahead and stick with the dino kale. And so I already cut that up. Another thing that they wanna add is cabbage. Cabbage is a great cruciferous. I went with the purple cabbage. That is what's in the recipe. Finely chopped, just kind of have it all here. And I'm gonna go ahead and add it right into the bowl with the kale. And so the next thing I can do is I like to massage it raw without adding anything. This recipe says that you should make the dressing and then massage the kale, but I'm gonna do it a little bit off cue, but just know that the correct way, according to the directions, is to do it that way. And the reason that you massage kale, well, besides it's fun to play in your food, is so that you can break down the fibers and make it easier to, you know, chew up. And it just sometimes just helps when you break it down. It helps with digestion, it helps with chewing and so forth. And also cutting it up, you can cut it down smaller so that you can eat more volume, which is another great tip. So if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and then you'll be notified when I go live or post new videos. And please give this a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. Also, for those who have subscribed, I just want to tell you thank you so very much. I truly appreciate it. So we can also chat. Leave a question or comment in the comments, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. I love to learn from you, and I love to share ideas and hear if something inspired you. So we are going to now set this aside here, and let me just take a quick peek at the recipe, because I think what we're going to do is the orange next. And so it wants us to put the dressing all together, and so that's what we'll do next. Now, the dressing originally calls for the flaxseed oil. I'm not using the flaxseed oil. I'm going to go ahead and put this aside for now and get out this little jar that I'm going to create the dressing in. So if you use the flaxseed oil, go ahead and add that in. Now, she tells us if you want to use flax oil because it's more concentrated. That's the only oil that she uses in her protocol, but you don't have to use it. You could do what I do, and I do the ground flax seed. I don't buy it pre-ground. I ground it myself, and I have some right here ground up. And so I'm just going to kind of eyeball a little bit of this because she was talking about the oil. I'm just going to eyeball this. Now, I don't know, I'm just putting some in there. But I put in my smoothie either chia seeds or flaxseed over half a cup. So this doesn't look like very much, but I can always add the rest in. Let's see how it goes. And then the next thing we're going to add in here is some rice vinegar. Now the recipe calls for rice wine. I'm using just rice vinegar. I'm just going to go ahead and add that right in there. And the one that I'm using is this particular one. And this one happens to be organic, which is nice. And then the original recipe calls for tamari, which is a soy sauce. But I'm going to go ahead and use the liquid aminos, which is a soy sauce alternative that she promotes a lot. So I'm just going to add that right in there as well. And then we are going to use an orange, and we're going to zest. I've got this beautiful zester. I washed this orange already. We're going to zest half of it and put it into the dressing. And so I'm just going to do it. And what I like to do is just zest one direction and move the orange or lemon or lime. Oh my God, it smells so good. Because I don't want to get that pithy, that part underneath that's white, because that tends to taste bitter. You don't have to do this. This is an optional, but hey, the more flavor, the better, I say. So I'm adding it. And it says to do it on half, and so let's just do the whole half of the orange zest. As much of it as we can get, right? So delicious. Now, I'm using an organic orange, and so if you're not using an organic orange, you're just going to want to make sure to realize that you want to make sure that it's as clean as you could get it because of whatever pesticides may be on there. So clean, clean, clean. Okay, so now what we're going to do is check this here again, and I am going to add a garlic clove. And so I have the garlic clove right here. You can put it through a garlic mincer. I'm going to just go ahead and chop it up small. If I had a lot, I would use my garlic press or my garlic little container thing where you pull the string and it cuts it all up crazy, and it's wonderful. I love that thing. But I don't really use it if I'm only going to be using like one garlic clove, just because it makes more dishes, and who wants more dishes? So for one garlic clove, I just do this. And I just want to mince it as small as I can. And like I said, you can use an actual garlic press, and that will really get it really tiny, especially if you're new to garlic. Well, I can eat pieces of garlic raw, so I love garlic, but there are people in my family and friends that I know that, whoa, it's really too strong for them. And so being able to mince it tiny, tiny, tiny might be the way to go. if you're new to garlic. And if you don't have fresh garlic, well, I would say use garlic powder. That's always great. Or even minced garlic that's dried, you know. I think that this is good enough. Let me grab my scooper scraper. And then I'm gonna add that right into the dressing as well. Doesn't that look like it's gonna be a nice dressing? Rinsing my fingers. And then the other thing is cayenne. Yes, cayenne pepper and black pepper. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of black pepper. Now, she also talks about salt. So I don't traditionally or normally eat salt. If you've seen some of my other videos, I talk about it in more detail about her protocol, but on her protocol, because she has you drinking so much water, you can actually flush out the sodium and you know, flush it out of your system. And so it's important to make sure that you have enough of that. So I've been using this. She recommends getting the iodized salt so that you get your iodine, but I also have the dulse. This dulse is not in the original recipe, although since I didn't put it in my smoothie this morning, I'm gonna go ahead and add it to this salad. And so what I'm gonna do is just take she likes us to measure. Where's my measurer? Oh, here it is. And she likes a teaspoon of salt. That's a lot for me. So I'm gonna do half of that, and then there are days when I skip it, but I'm gonna do a little half, maybe even half of the half. Oh, all right. Oh, I'll be brave. But I only plan to use this as long as I'm on her protocol, and I am planning to go the full 6 weeks and then get my blood test, which will be great to see how all of my numbers turn out and where I am with Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism. So I'm excited about that. So anyways, here we go. And the last thing that we talked about is cayenne. Now, cayenne is a spicy, this is just a cayenne pepper. It's a spicy pepper, and so you want to tread lightly if you're not used to spice. But I think I'm going to add, I might get a little crazy. What do you think? An 1/8 of a teaspoon. You can kind of do what, maybe a little less than that. You can always add more. You can't take it away, right? So I might just, what the heck. Oh my gosh. Okay, living on the edge, living on the edge. So this is what I want to do. I want to take the lid. This is how I make salad dressing. And it's really fun to do if you have kids or little ones, you know, like the grandbabies. All right, so we have our dressing ready to go. And so now we're going to bring this back and we're going to add a few more things. You know what we're going to add? We're going to add, so I already have some chopped scallions. So you're going to want to chop some of those and put them right in there. And that looks good. And we are going to add some fresh mint. Whoa, isn't fresh mint amazing? Oh my gosh. There are, again, so many varieties of mint. This one I think is just like a spearmint, a regular mint, and I'm just gonna go ahead and chop it. You can use the stem and everything. You don't have to if you don't want to. I don't want to chop it too small. I kind of want it in like ribbon strips, but this is washed. And I am gonna use, when I get down to where the stem is, then I like to chop it a little bit finer so that I don't even notice it, right? But it is edible and it's part of it. So except for the very tip, which maybe doesn't look so great, and I can throw that into my compost or my veggie broth, I'm gonna use the rest. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that right in there. That looks great. And then we are gonna add, oh yes. Have you seen this herb saver? It's amazing. And it does really keep my herbs fresh a longer time. I got a little bit of water at the bottom. I change it out daily. And then I'm gonna just have you come along and help me take out, let me move this aside temporarily. This is cilantro. And I put everything in here. I put parsley, any fresh herb, basil, and it really keeps it fresh. So I'm gonna take like I don't know, maybe a little less than half. You could put the whole thing in, but I think I'll use it for some other recipes today or tomorrow. You know, I love to use it in homemade guacamole. Have you seen that recipe I did? I'll link it above. Check it out if you haven't. And so I just put this back in here. This is already washed. I wash it when I get home. And then what I also do when I get home is, and I sometimes do it, you know, each day that I change the water, is I just take the very, very tips and I cut them. So that just like a flower, it's fresh and it could get the water through to keep it going longer, and you can throw that again into your veggie broth that I keep all my scraps in the freezer and make it. And so then you can just chop this up, chop, chop, chop. Now I do have several ways that I chop my herbs. You can do it just like that, going straight across. You can bunch it up in a ball, which I'm gonna do also to show you, or you can use an herb scissor, which I have. And if I was gonna have more than this, I would definitely pull that out. I really do like the herb scissor, and it makes it finer. Right now, I'm kind of not really looking for that fine chop. So I'm just gonna go ahead and scoop that right up, bring the bowl back. Isn't this looking great? Scoop it all right in there. Yes, yes. This is going to be serving for one. I mean, no kidding. So, and I'm not kidding. So I'm gonna go ahead at this point and add my dulse. Like I said, this is not on the original recipe, but it is on her protocol for the day. Sometimes I put this in the smoothie, and I'm just gonna do a half a teaspoon. I just kind of eye it and just, you know, do what I can just to kind of get an idea. That's about right. And then I might take it, if it's not going in the smoothie, and just kind of crumble it. Crumble, 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 crumble. Will it change the flavor? I don't think so, but I guess that's up to you. And if that's something that you don't want to put in here, you can get the iodized salt like she recommends, or you can put it in your smoothie or ingest it another way throughout the day. Okay, we're gonna get crazy now. So the other half of this orange, we can zest it. In the recipe, it talks about actually slicing off part of it, you know, part of the skin like this, I guess. I don't know. And making it into these little pieces like this of the rind, which is not the pithy part, although you do see a little bit, and then cutting it into like strips, which is fine, and we could certainly do that. I guess that does look pretty, look. Or you could continue to do it with the microplane and zest it. But since I started that and it looks pretty, maybe we'll just do a few of those. So you just want to make sure that you go kind of around, because you really don't want all this white pithy. Now, how else could you do this with? You could probably use a paring knife instead of this big one. You could probably use a peeler, which I haven't tried. These are just ideas. So if you know of a better way, or you try something that I'm suggesting and it works, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know how it worked or didn't work. I'm hoping we're all here together to learn from each other, inspire each other, and improve in the kitchen. Improve things so that it's easier and we become more successful. There we go. So, okay, that looks good. And then what I do, or what I'm doing, is kind of stack it. You could make it in 2 stacks, 1 stack. You don't have to stack it at all. And then I'm just gonna carefully chop it so that it's into these little ribbons. And then we're gonna get a little heartier flavor, a little extra punch of the rind. Now, if this seems like, oh, I don't want to eat that, you know, you don't have to do this, or you could also just zest it, and then of course, like I said, it's just a very fine thing. Could even cut it more, but look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh my goodness, loving it. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we are going to pour this dressing on, and then we're gonna add some fruit, and then we're gonna be ready to try it. So the idea to pour it on, she says you could in the cookbook, in the recipe, you could do this earlier, but this is how I'm doing it. And the reason why to do it earlier is to let it have a chance to marinate a little bit. Let me toss it. You know, there are so many people that, including myself, right? When I first started eating this way, and I don't mean her protocol, I just mean more greens in general, I was like, oh my gosh, how could I ever eat kale? It felt so like tough and just really a strong leaf, you know? And as a kid, I remember it being more of a garnish on a plate, right? And now it's my main course. But over time, I've learned that if you massage it, cut it small, you can slowly work your way into really loving it. And being able to put on different dressings really helps as well. Now, I like citrus. Specifically, I like to use lemon and lime on all my greens to help with absorption of iron. And I'm not using lemon this time because I'm following the recipe, but I am using the orange. So I think that takes the place of that and covers that up. So now it's really nicely tossed. We're going to set it aside just a little bit longer, and then we are going to go into getting the orange out of here. Now, I have this little tool. Who remembers this tool? Oh my gosh, this is like Tupperware's, it is Tupperware, from a very long time ago. I don't know how long ago, but I love this thing, and it helps me peel the orange, and I just go around like this. And let me know in the comments, have you used this? Do you know what this is? So anyhow, or if you don't, tell me. This is where it is like a little, it's not sharp, but it's a point, and that's where it will grab on. And it just allows me to spin around here. Even, you know, had I left the peel on, it goes right through it. And then this side, this little flat side, I don't know if you can see that, you can start, so you don't have to use your nails, which is what a lot of people have to do, and then you can just peel it this way. It's like one of my gadgets. I wonder if they still sell this. If they do, you'll find it in my show notes with all the other things that I put, including ways to get a hold of me directly through my website. If you haven't checked it out, make sure to check it out. And so now I'm just peeling this, and I'm going to add this beautiful orange to our salad. So we really, besides this part, which I can do something else with, I'm not really sure what, I'm going to compost this because it is the pithy part. But we got to use a whole heck of a lot of this orange, which is magnificent. Now, the other thing I like to do is get any of the center, you know, sometimes this, like this one, has kind of a little bit extra stuff to get out of here. And then I like to make sure that there aren't any seeds. So I will peel each one into sections, and then I will cut it into, I don't know, I like to do thirds, and then I'll be able to see if there are any seeds in there. I'd like to try to get rid of all that. So when I take a nice bite, I don't have to worry about, oh, look what I found, a seed. Seeds are great if you're growing the vegetable, not to chew on it, unless it's like sunflower seeds or seeds you're supposed to eat, right? Okay, so these have some cute little baby ones. Oh my gosh, aren't they adorable? So obviously won't have to cut those down too much, maybe in half. And there we go. Yay. I'm getting so hungry. This smells so great. And then what I do is I just kind of put them together, you know, like this, couple rows. Doesn't have to be anything fancy or perfect or nice, you know, just to make things simple for myself. If you are going to cut it, this would be the time. And then I can just slice it up into whatever size. Thirds, here I am doing it more than thirds. I thought I was going to do thirds, but I decided to go less. There are no seeds here. That's great. And then I can do another group here. And if this doesn't work for you, just do what works for you, right? These are just tips and techniques that I find helpful and easier. And then these little ones that I thought I wasn't going to cut, I think I'm just going to cut them in half. There we go. Now, voila, look at that. Ah, You know what I think about a pop of color? I love a pop of color. Okay, so we can take a minute and go ahead and mix this up, and then we're gonna add one more beautiful fruit. Woo! All right, so again, I'm setting it aside. I'm moving my little tool, and we're gonna pull out another tool and another fruit that's been washed. Yes, it is. It's an apple, slicer and corer. You don't have to use it. I am keeping the skin on. This is an envy apple. I love the envy apples. They're like my favorite. But you can use any apple that you like. You can use a green apple. You can use Red Delicious or Granny Smith, the yellow ones. There's Gala and Fuji and Pink Lady and Honeycrisp, right? So many. So whatever you like, you should use. There's even those sugar bees. I think they're called sugar bees. Ah, those are really great apples. And so I go ahead and take this out. And I like to do the apple last. Here's the core, and I can put this in my veggie broth. Yeah, even apple. Why not? Sometimes I even eat a little bit around it, right? You know, like this. Because there's still some good stuff there. But then I will cut that off probably and not put it in the broth. That who knows would end up eating it. So anyways, what I was saying is that I like to cut it last because of the oxidation opportunity. And, you know, the apple changes. Let me rinse my fingers. The apple changes to that brown color pretty quickly and causes oxidation. Of course, if you have a citrus like lemon juice or something like that that you can put over it, it usually slows it down or prevents it. Anyways, you see that I just am kind of doing what I did with the orange, and I'm just taking a chunk and cutting it into bite-sized pieces. Now, another way that I sometimes like to cut my apples when they're going into something like a salad is after I use that, because that one, that apple slicer, I think it gives you 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 slices. And there are some that can give you more. Sometimes I'll go by each one of them and cut them again in half and then slice it, just so that it's a little bit even smaller, especially if I know that I'm maybe feeding somebody like the grandkids, where I want them to be able to have more than just this big chunk of apple in their mouth at a time, or even just for myself. It doesn't have to always be for the little ones. And so there you go. And adding it in, bring this baby over here. Ready? Nice. So we've got the orange color, we've got the white and the red, we've got the purple, we've got the green, we've got some onion, which has some different texture. And now we're just going to mix this up. Now, this is the salad that I will be enjoying. I can't wait. I'm just going to mix it a little bit more. Don't forget all the things that we had in the dressing. And you know what? Having the flax seed ground up instead of the flax oil, I don't even see it. So I think that's fine if you want to go that route. All right, so you can also add any more seasonings that you want. I mean, sky's the limit, guys. So let me just give it a quick look and make sure that we've gotten everything, which I think we have. And yes, everything, it just says, it says you better eat it now. This is my bowl. This is not to serve everybody else. So here we go. All right, let me just take a little bit of this. I don't want to take too big of a bite. I'll be chewing forever while we're trying to chat. Cheers. Oh my goodness. I think it tastes a little bit on the salty side. I mean, yes, why? We added some of the salt and the liquid aminos, but it wasn't a whole heck of a lot compared to all these cups of kale and cabbage. And then I can taste the sweetness that the orange provides. It's a really nice blend of mixes of different things that can make eating salad fun and enjoyable, as well as nutritious. So don't forget to eat your greens and give plants a chance. And if you'd like to reach out, feel free to do so. I'm here for you. But for now, I gotta go and eat this. So bye. We'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Yummy.